With an investment of over 40 million renminbi and a station area of nearly 2,000 square meters, the Haikou High-Speed Railway Station in Danzhou, Hainan, has been built for 8 years but remains unused, drawing national attention. Why was it built and left idle? The official response is quite straightforward. Haikou Station has a daily passenger flow of less than 100 people, and if it were to be put into operation, the railway department would incur significant losses. They even made an estimate that, if opened, it would lose around 5 million renminbi annually, putting tremendous pressure on its operations. In fact, besides the unopened Haikou Station, Danzhou has 2 more high-speed railway stations with similarly dismal passenger numbers. Does a small city with a population of only a few 100,000 really need 3 high-speed railway stations? But don't be surprised, there's even more exaggeration. The third-tier prefecture-level city of Guilin has astonishingly built 9 high-speed railway stations. They are Quanzhou South Station, Yongfu South Station, Xing'an North Station, Wudong Station, Gongqing Station, Yangshua Station, Guilin West Station, Guilin North Station, and Guilin Station. Among them, Wudong Station, with a total investment of over 50 million renminbi, hasn't seen a high-speed train stop for over half a year. In the first quarter of this year's Guangxi Railway train schedule, Wudong Station continues to suspend passenger service. It's all because of too few passengers and too much loss. As a result, these completed high-speed railway stations have become mere decorations. Several high-speed railway stations in Huizhou, except for Huyang Station, are also struggling. In Kunming, Kunyang and Jining East stations have essentially been abandoned. On the Hainan East Ring high-speed railway line, the Wanning and Lu Station, built in 2012, still remain unopened to this day. Suzhou Kunshan's Huaqiao Station and Zhenjiang Zhurong's Baohuashan Station were shut down in April 2020 due to low passenger traffic. Nanjing's Jiangpu Station and Zaijinshan East Station, both built over a decade ago, have yet to be put into operation. Cities across the country have numerous high-speed railway stations that have been built but not put into use or briefly used before being suspended. And these examples are just the tip of the iceberg. Why is there such low passenger traffic, and why do these stations go unused? One significant reason is that many high-speed railway stations are constructed far from city centers. The discontinued Shenyang West Station, for instance, is located outside Shenyang's 4th Ring Road, nearly 30 kilometers away from the city center, making it highly inconvenient. Therefore, people prefer the more accessible Shenyang Station and Shenyang North Station in the city center. The same goes for Haikou Station, which is about 80 kilometers from Danzhou's city government. Shaoyang North Station lacks public transportation to the city center and requires a 70-plus kilometer journey on a bus via the highway. What's even more extreme is Xiaogan North Station, which is over 100 kilometers from the city center, and there are only a few intercity buses to Xiaogan each day. While high-speed rail offers speed, if getting to the high-speed rail station consumes too much time and is inconvenient, what was meant to be a convenient option becomes exceedingly inconvenient. This naturally reduces the appeal for passengers. The soul-searching question, shouldn't infrastructure investments take economic viability into account? In recent years, many provinces have been striving for high-speed rail connections between cities. But it doesn't stop at city-to-city high-speed rail connections, some even seek county-to-county connections. In some cases, it goes beyond that, with calls for county-to-county connections to airports. As early as 2018, Guizhou set the goal of having every county connected to an airport by 2030. Just 3 months after this announcement, Zhengyi began to actively plan for this goal, and other prefecture-level cities followed suit. Is Guizhou a wealthy province? Guizhou's debt issues have made headlines more than once. At the end of last year, the largest urban investment company in Zhengyi faced problems. Following Guizhou, Hunan also announced plans to connect every county to an airport last year. It is said that around July 2022, Hunan had approved the site locations for 55 general airports. It's important to note that general airports typically handle small aircraft and helicopters. From a local planning perspective, many newly built or expanded airports have been located at the county, township, or even village level. For example, airports like Ruijin Airport, Weining Chaohai Airport, and Jiaosu Tianma Airport are all named after county towns. At the same time, there is also a strong push for every county to have a subway. As of now, more than a dozen counties across the country have entered the era of rail transit, such as Changsha County, Nanchang County, and Lian County. However, in most cases, the subway in these counties only extends to the outskirts and does not reach the city center. Moreover, the functional orientation of many urban subways is to serve as radial fast lines, connecting the suburbs. What are the issues? The case of Zhejiang Ningbo Metro Line 3, with the widely discussed 200 million investment in Gotenkyo Station, is just one example of the challenges faced by infrastructure projects. The surrounding area of the station doesn't seem to have seen the expected development. However, this is not an isolated case. It's important to note that many suburban subway lines currently have insufficient ridership, leading to serious resource wastage. Apart from high-speed railways, subways, and airports, in recent years, light rail transit systems have also gained popularity in many major cities. As of the end of 2022, 24 cities have opened light rail transit lines. There are two main reasons for this: lower approval thresholds and lower construction costs. Despite these advantages, many cities with light rail transit systems still operate at a loss and have even had to suspend operations. For instance, Zhuhai opened a light rail transit system in 2017 but announced its suspension in January 2021. The reason was quite simple: the passenger flow was significantly lower than expected, with actual ridership being only a fraction of what was anticipated, leading to unsustainable operations. The upfront investment of over 20 billion renminbi in construction costs has indeed gone to waste in many cases. The Zhangjiang tram in Shanghai also suspended operations in June of this year. The light rail in Baoding has been unused for many years and is set to be dismantled. Although the light rail in Honghe Prefecture, Yunnan, denied suspension rumors, the severe financial imbalance and funding difficulties of the company are real. The fact is that passenger numbers are simply too low, and it can't even compete with buses. Turning a profit is nearly impossible. So, the situation is quite awkward. If the service is suspended, the upfront construction costs become a sunk cost. If operations continue, it will only require more financial subsidies. In reality, it's not just these examples. Excessive infrastructure is imposing a heavy burden on regions across the board. Do you remember the Fangcang Hospital? It was built at a significant cost and, if dismantled, would incur substantial expenses. If it's not dismantled, ongoing maintenance and management costs must be covered. Fangcang hospitals were constructed as temporary medical facilities during public health emergencies, particularly to expand medical resource availability, isolate patients, and relieve pressure on regular hospitals. However, now that the COVID-19 pandemic is under control, these costly Fangcang hospitals are sitting idle, incurring maintenance and management expenses. There's no denying that at the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, Fangcang hospitals quickly emerged as crucial facilities for emergency treatment. Faced with a shortage of beds in designated treatment centers, Fangcang hospitals provided a timely and effective solution. These temporary facilities offered good isolation conditions and protective measures, effectively mitigating the risk of cross-infection. However, as time went on, more and more Fangcang hospitals were built, and even in 2022, when the pandemic was effectively controlled, many places continued to construct these facilities. So, even during the pandemic, the construction of Fangcang hospitals raised some controversies. Site leasing was a critical aspect of Fangcang hospital construction. Finding suitable locations for these facilities, which require a large area to accommodate sufficient beds and isolation areas, proved to be a challenge. Additionally, in emergency situations, supply-demand imbalances often led to soaring rental prices for these sites. Another key factor was the cost of constructing the temporary structures. Fangcang hospitals typically use simple construction methods, and the special design and engineering consultations required for this type of project can incur significant expenses. Furthermore, the cost of equipment procurement should not be overlooked. To respond to public health emergencies or other disaster scenarios, Fangcang hospitals need various equipment such as beds, ventilators, and monitors. The procurement costs for these devices can also be substantial. While they played a crucial role in responding to public health emergencies, concerns have persisted about their high construction costs. Deciding how to handle idle Fangcang hospitals indeed poses significant challenges. Several factors need to be considered in making these decisions. First, the location of the Fangcang hospital should be assessed in terms of local demand. If there is still a need for temporary medical facilities in the area, it may be worthwhile to consider retaining the facility and performing necessary renovations and upgrades to meet local community needs. Another critical factor is the cost. Establishing and operating Fangcang hospitals requires substantial financial investment, and over time, additional expenses may accrue. Therefore, before converting them into other institutions or facilities, a cost-benefit analysis should be conducted to weigh the pros and cons. Lastly, but equally important, is ensuring that any changes genuinely meet the societal needs. Some have proposed converting idle Fangcang hospitals into educational institutions, senior activity centers, youth activity centers, and various public service venues. However, this would require conducting surveys and discussions with local residents to ensure that the new functions align with the surrounding environment. Comprehensive considerations of factors such as location and cost are necessary, along with ensuring practical significance to the local population. These renovation projects would also require a substantial workforce, including architects, designers, and construction teams, among various specialized professionals. In the past, China's extensive infrastructure development was used to boost the economy, primarily by selling land and properties. However, now this path has become more challenging. Ineffective infrastructure projects with large scales and long durations can continually strain local finances and resources. It's crucial to shift the focus towards projects that genuinely benefit local communities and provide a sustainable economic and social return on investment. Indeed, for cities with limited financial resources, blindly taking on debt for construction can be detrimental. It may not yield significant economic benefits and can burden the entire city's development. In recent years, there has been a deliberate cooling down of infrastructure development at the policy level. For example, regarding subway construction, the National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, has set certain thresholds for cities wishing to apply for subway projects. 1. GDP of 300 billion renminbi or more. 2. Fiscal revenue of 30 billion renminbi or more. 3. Urban population of 3 million or more. 4. Even cities that have already opened subway systems are subject to assessment criteria, requiring a daily ridership of 7,000 passengers per kilometer during the initial operation phase to continue applying for subway construction. Following these requirements, many cities do not meet the criteria. For instance, Weifang in Shandong is defined as not meeting the conditions for rail transit construction. Yantai, also in Shandong, has been planning a subway for a while but has not received approval. Wenzhou in Zhejiang, after opening a citywide rail system, has been planning a subway but has not received approval either. Even first-tier cities like Shenzhen have reduced their subway expansion plans from 13 lines to 11 lines. Last year, Hangzhou's subway Phase 4 plan was also significantly reduced. Furthermore, high-speed rail construction faces tightened approval processes. Clear passenger flow standards have been established, focusing on main high-speed rail routes connecting provincial capitals and major cities with a dual-direction passenger flow density of over 25 million people per year and a medium to long-distance passenger flow share of over 70%. These routes can adopt a standard operating speed of 350 km per hour. In any case, reckless borrowing to expand infrastructure investment is no longer a viable path. Infrastructure development in the future will require more prudent financial planning and consideration of economic viability. Today's sharing comes to an end here. We welcome everyone to leave comments in the comments section to share your perspectives. See you in the next video.